Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, and welcome to an extra special edition of Across the Pitch. My name is Phil Kennedy, and I'm joined by my co-host Tony Robinson, and we're excited today to have another Accrington Stanley player interview. Today we have a man who has been one of the fixtures on the back line this season after coming over from Blackpool. Welcome to Across the Pitch, Michael Nottingham. Thank you so much for joining us today, Michael.
Hi, guys. How you doing? Thanks for having me. Good. What is it? Good morning there, is it? Good afternoon.
Just barely afternoon here in Arizona, and then Tony, it's what, about 2:15 for you there in Toronto?
Yeah, I'm 2:00 for us, and still got some snow on the ground, and I think we're a little worse off than you guys, Phil. And I think the weather over there, hopefully the weather for you, Michael, is getting better for football.
Oh yeah, it's getting a little better now. Like a couple of weeks ago, we've had some snow, and I bet it wasn't as bad as what the snow is over there for you. But I'm not really a big fan of the snow, especially playing football anyway. But we've had some better weather recently. A bit sunnier and a bit more mild, which is nice, how I prefer it.
You're from Birmingham originally, which is a little bit south of Accrington, what I would say about 100 miles or so. What's the difference in weather between Accrington and the Midlands where you're from? Is it quite a bit colder in Accrington?
Yeah, I think Accrington's the coldest place in the country, to be honest. I think because it's so high up, like it gets really, really cold there, and you can really, really tell the difference, to be honest.
Yeah, you mentioned about snow. In Canada, shoveling snow is a sport, actually. We do that much of it.
Wow.
But
it could be the national sport, because I bet you have that much of it.
Well, I thought it was pushing around rocks with a broom.
There's nothing. I actually watched some curling a bit last night, to be honest with you. So I'm obviously getting Canadianized because although being from Accrington, I do watch some North American sports. There's nothing wrong to be said for curling, which I think originated in Scotland. So there's a connection back to the home country.
Yeah, definitely. I think we could do curling on our training pitch sometimes, because it gets that cold.
Well, we better not tell, but better not let Buzzer hear that one.
He does a great job on that pitch, to be fair. Yeah, he does a great job getting those games on every week, I'm telling you.
Yeah, he's a great lad, is Buzzer. Great lad.
Absolutely.
No, he's all right. He's not bad.
Now, getting back to football a little bit, Tony's got some questions here that he's going to ask you about your early career. But, kind of starting off with where we're at right now, you guys are in seventh in the standings. You've had excellent results so far. Of course, the last result on Tuesday wasn't one that you're looking for. Now, John Coleman, his kind of motto is always to not get too high up after a win and not to get too far down after a loss. So how important is that after a result like Tuesday to understand that it's just one match?
Yeah, I think it is important, obviously, not to get too disheartened about it. Yeah, obviously no one's happy about losing the game of football, because we want to win every game, and we feel like we actually win every single game. We go into every game with a lot of belief. We know how good we are as a team. We prepare right every single game. The amount of preparation that goes into everything is amazing, from the staff. So obviously it's disheartening, like when you do lose a game, but we can't be too down about it, because it's going to happen in the football season. Like, you can't win every game, even though we believe we can. And we're on a good run. We're in a great position in the league. Like, if someone said to us at the start of the season, at this point in the season, we'd be where we are on this many points, I think we'd snap everyone's hand off. Do you know what I mean? Because we're in a great position. We're just literally outside the playoffs, like one win away from being in the playoffs again. And
absolutely, absolutely.
If you pick up a few results from now until the end of the season, you can easily get in there. It's all about getting on a run now and being consistent, trying to get those points to get you in there. And we're in and around it, and I think that's the most important thing, being in and around it. Because if you fall off too far, then obviously you've got a mountain to climb. So I think we're in a good position, and I don't think we're too disheartened about it. And we're just looking forward to the next game now, and they're coming around thick and fast, which is a really good thing for us. You know, having these games coming Tuesday and Saturday, it gives us a chance to bounce back as quickly as possible. And obviously, when you win the games, it gives you a chance to keep the momentum going. So that's probably, I feel like, is an advantage at the moment. We're a really fit side, and I think we can handle it as a squad. So, yeah, looking forward to the next game now. I'm just trying to get those 3 points on the weekend.
So you like that as a player and having the quick turnaround where maybe you don't have to spend 6 days thinking about a loss. You have another game coming up on Saturday, so it makes it easier to have that next game, next opponent, and on to Fleetwood mentality, if you will.
Definitely. See, like I'm a kind of player that when we do have that bad result, like on Tuesday, like I do dwell quite a bit, but obviously with the game coming up, you ain't got that much time to do that, and so you've got to put a lot of focus into your training sessions that are coming up before the game, and obviously getting right for that actual game. So yeah, I think obviously the benefit of it is obviously being able to just focus on the next game as soon as it comes around. So yeah, it's like you said, we can't dwell on it too much. We just get on with it now and move on to the next one.
That leads me into what we're just talking about now. Is obviously February has been a hectic month for scheduling. I believe it's 8 matches in about 26 days. So from a positive point of view, you get onto the next match fairly quickly. As far as going through that spell, do you think there's anything in the fact that you could be physically or mentally fatigued, or is that something you just have to work through and then focus on the next match?
You see, the way I see it is that every team in the league is in the same boat, so there's no point crying or having a good moan about it. Like, we just got to get on with it. We've got a squad, and a very big, capable squad where we can rotate, and if needs be, then we can swap players and stuff like that. We just manage it, and obviously we're looked after at football as well. So if you are feeling anything and you maybe a little niggle or a little injury from like a game before or something like that, then we are looked after and we're well managed. So yeah, we just basically just do what we can to get through them as best as we can. Like I said, everyone's in the same boat, so we just got to get on with it. There's no, you're not going to hear us moan about it at all. We just literally get on with it. And like I said, I feel like it's a positive for me. I enjoy the games coming around thick and fast.
Right. We've got a couple of things we'll talk about with formations and the upcoming match. But one thing I just wanted to go back to is your career to get to League One is a little different than some of the players that we've talked to in the past who've gone through youth academies and such. You've gone through that, basically the non-league route and getting into the Football League later than quite a few players, I would say. How was that for you as far as your mental approach, getting into the Football League? Did you think it was going to happen, or like what was your feeling as you were going through the non-league days?
Yeah, I think, like you said, I've done it probably the wrong way around, like not the usual way. Like, I've done it a different way. Like, when I started playing, like, say, men's football when I was about 17 or whatever it was, at a really, really low level in non-league, it was just a hobby, like, to play with my mates. It was a local club called Castle Vale JKS, which was local to my house, and a few of my friends from my school used to play there, and I literally just went there, obviously, to socialise and play with my mates. So I never really took it too seriously. And obviously over time, I've developed and got better at it and started to enjoy it more. And basically, I've just like progressed from there. So it wasn't until even years after that when I went to uni and I went to college and uni and done all those things, and still wasn't even playing like high level competitive football. And it was only after that when I moved to another club called Solihull Moors where I really started to kick on, and I actually started to believe that I was actually capable of making it to the Football League. I was playing really good football at the time under a really good manager, Marcus Bignott, who helped me develop to where I am now, basically. And I think I was 25 at the time. So yeah, and then I started moving to progressing to higher clubs obviously in higher leagues and going up the football league that way. So I've done it a weird way, but it's been a great journey for me.
Well, I think
I've really.
I think it's an example to players out there and people that think because they haven't got picked or signed at an 8, 9, 10, 11-year-old. I think it's an example, a tremendous example of showing that you can make it if you have the talent and the work ethic and you just keep going.
Definitely. I just think one of the main things for me was I was willing to learn and adapt as I went through it, and I picked up things from other people and other players and managers and coaches and stuff like that. And I progressively got better. And honestly, like even when I was about 23, 24, I still probably wasn't even that good. Like, to be fair, I'm not blowing my own trumpet now saying I'm amazing now, but obviously I'm saying that I progressed like slowly over time and got better as I was playing with better players and playing in better leagues and stuff like that. Well, yeah, it's an example to everybody saying like, if you put the work in, then you can achieve anything. Like,
yeah.
I mean, like when I got to Salford after I went from Solihull Moors, the aim was to try and get into the football league after that, and I really kicked on and I really put a lot of effort into it. I mean, I moved away from Birmingham for the first time. Well, other than when I went to uni, I moved away from Birmingham to focus on football. That was the first time when I really took it seriously. Like, I was 25 or 26 when I moved to Salford, and I thought I'm gonna really have a good go at this now. And I had two unbelievable years there, and that's what gave me the platform to move on to football league, and I moved to Blackpool from there.
Yeah, and I think you were. Correct me if I'm wrong, but were you 29 when you made your football league debut?
Yeah, so I turned 29 when I became a pro, which is very, very unusual and unheard of. Do you know what I mean? So, like you said, it just shows to people like it can be achieved if you really put the work in. Like, but honestly, like, I wouldn't have it any other way. Like, it's been an amazing journey. Like all the teams that I've been at, I've learned so much, met so many great people, and I'm just happy where I am now. I feel like I've done a great job in terms of making myself and my family proud and the way I've done it.
Well, I got to tell you, the team that you first started playing with, Romulus FC, that's got to be my new favorite name. There was a team in the States called Ocean City Nor'easters, and I tell you, that was a great name. But Romulus FC is got to be the new name now. Is that team still going?
Is
Michael?
that one of the founders of Rome? Was it like Romulus and Remus?
Basically, yeah, it's just something to do with that, because the emblem's got like one of those helmets what those Romans used to wear. Do you know what I mean? Like one of them ones. Yeah. It's almost like a Sparta. Have you seen the film Sparta or 300? Like what those Spartans wear. The emblem of the club is basically one of them. And I wasn't there for very long. That was the thing. I think I was there for maybe a couple months and got injured. And honestly, when I say that I was not very good when I was there either, to be honest, that was my early days. I really didn't believe I was going to go on and make it as a professional from there. But I think it's part of the journey, part of the learning curve, wasn't it?
I got to tell you that when you mentioned about their crest, the Romulus FC. And this would be of interest to Phil, too, who follows the National Hockey League. There's a team called the Ottawa Senators, and their logo last season, if you look at their logo and the crest for Romulus, it's almost identical. So I'm not sure if there was ever any copyright issues, but you guys should Google that because it's the same.
Send it to me after this interview. You have to send it to me. I'll have a look.
Yeah, I'll make sure you get it, because you look at the logo. All it is one is a right eye view and one is a left eye view kind of thing. But I'll tell you one thing: they're very similar. But one of the things that
I would tell you not to start rooting for the Ottawa Senators if you want a winning team, but the Arizona Coyotes here don't have much to talk about either. No. Although they did get a nice overtime win last night.
One of the things we mentioned, and this is where, Michael, you said you started to really kick on at Salford. That leads into a question that we've got from our co-host and historian of Stanley, Darren Woodhead. He said, "What was it like to be involved in the first class of '96 documentary with the Nevilles and Salford? I mean, you were involved in that time period. What was that like for you personally?"
At first, it was surreal. Like, I couldn't believe I was surrounded by these players that I looked up to when I was younger and stuff like that. Like, I'd watched them obviously throughout all my childhood and stuff like that, and to be around them like consistently all the time, it was surreal to start with, and it was a big thing for me at the time, definitely. And obviously, being a part of the documentary was a platform in terms of promoting the club. So I was a part of that, and we had a lot of success there whilst I was there. But I absolutely loved every single minute there. I spent 2 years there, and it was very, very successful, and it was a real good platform and a real part of me developing. So I absolutely loved it there. And obviously, one of the main reasons why I went there was because of obviously everything that was going on there. I thought it was the right place for me at that time, and hence why I moved away from Birmingham to take that risk to try and get into the Football League, whether it was going to be with Salford, because that's what they really wanted to do, which they've ended up doing now, or whether it was to go there, play good, attractive football whilst everyone's watching, and then that would give me the platform to go to somewhere else, which eventually happened.
And while you were at Salford, is that when your international career kicked off? Because you played a couple of games for St. Kitts and Nevis. Was that around that time that you got involved with the international scene?
Yeah, so I think probably maybe a couple of years before that, I was offered and asked if I wanted to go and represent St. Kitts anyway. But it wasn't so easy to get that done. I was only allowed to play in the friendlies at the time because I didn't have the right documentation and stuff like that, like from my family and stuff like that. Because my granddad was basically born in St. Kitts, and that's what enabled me to play there. But my granddad passed quite a few years back, so it wasn't easy to try and get the documentation to prove that he was born there because he didn't have much documentation. So I was only allowed to play in the friendlies at the time, and then we tried to get things sorted in terms of proving it, and it became an impossible task. So I ended up only playing the 2 international games, but they were brilliant games to play in and a great experience for me. But unfortunately, I wasn't able to carry that on because of the documentation.
Well, I got it. This is a bit of a trivia question, and I'm going to throw it at Phil because it wouldn't be fair to ask you, Michael. But there's been another player that's been interviewed on Across the Pitch that debuted or played for St. Kitts. Phil, would you know who that player is that's been interviewed before?
Oh, wow! Because
Michael, you're not the first player to be interviewed on here that played for St. Kitts, so sorry about that. But if you give up, Phil, do you give up?
I remember, but I don't want to venture a guess. It'd be wrong.
It's a well-known player from the heydays of Stanley coming back. It was Lutel James.
Ah, that's right. Right.
So we've had 2 players that have represented the nation of St. Kitts. So that's which is great for us. And I think it's interesting that when you can play for a country and play international football, that's got to be something special that you have on your CV, I should say.
Oh, definitely. Like, I'm telling you, that experience was unbelievable. Like, obviously, I was still playing non-league at the time. So, like, I still hadn't played Football League at this time. So then to be playing around international players, like, even in the St. Kitts team, there wasn't many, like, professional players in that team. But then, obviously, I was playing with Romain Sawyers, who's currently at West Brom. He is a great player, unbelievable player. That week I spent there when I was playing with them, I was watching him and thinking, wow, he is a brilliant player. And then we played against Armenia and Georgia, and in the Armenia game, which was the first game playing away in that stadium, it was an amazing stadium. The atmosphere was brilliant, and I was marking basically Mkhitaryan, and that was a big moment for me in my career alone. Obviously, playing against someone who's who's a big star in the Premier League. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah.
It was a massive thing for me, and then obviously the way it is, the lifestyle, being in foreign countries and stuff like that, it was all different, and it was great just to be a part of, and it was a great learning curve for me. And the only regret I have is I couldn't have done it more, to be honest.
Yeah.
But it was brilliant.
Just going back to the other night when you played at Crewe, obviously you spent quite a bit of time there at the end of last season on loan. What's it like for you as a player going back to a team that you've just recently played for? Is it a bit surreal going into to play against a team like that you have played for?
I think it is the first time around. So like the first time we played a few months ago at home. And obviously it wasn't too long after I left Crewe. So, and obviously you've seen all these faces that you just literally have been around and been playing with only months ago. Yeah, it was a bit weird, but like the one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to lose to your previous clubs. Like you always want them to do well, but you don't want to lose to them when you're playing against them. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, it was a bit surreal. And obviously being back at Presty Road, which is their stadium, the other day, that was a nice experience. But obviously with no fans, it's it's a bit different. Like it was completely different. Like when I was there last season in front of their fans, and it was amazing. It really was amazing. But there was no fans there this time, so it didn't feel like it was anywhere near the same sort of thing or what it could have been. So no, it just became another game. Obviously with who obviously I classed them as my mates because they were my teammates last year, so I was playing against my mates basically. But obviously you do everything you can to try and win the game of football because obviously I represent Accrington and that's it. So, but yeah, it was a bit surreal. But it was one of them.
Speaking of former teams that you've played for, and this would be a good time for us to take a quick break for what we call Peter's Corner, where Peter Latham, who is the chairman of the Accrington Stanley Supporters Trust and arranges all these interviews, he always sends in a few questions. It would fit in real good here. He said you played under two management duos. He's asking any similarity between Johnson and Morley, Coleman and Bell. He wanted to know about any similarities and differences that you have.
Yeah, they're all nuts, all four of them. They're absolutely nuts. That's the similarities. They're all brilliant. Honestly, like they are brilliant at both duos. I really get on with both duos so much, and I think that all four of them are so knowledgeable and they have a great understanding of the game and players, and they really do look after us. They always have done. They are very similar in terms of how they bounce off each other and they use each other to obviously get the best out of players and stuff like that. I had great times under Bernard and Jono at Salford. I think they were brilliant. I thought they were really, really good, and I'm really enjoying my time under Coley and JC. Yeah, so like. Sorry, JB. JB, Jimmy Val. They're brilliant. They really are.
Yeah, I mean, John and Jimmy have both been on the show, and they're absolutely brilliant. And you know, we've never heard anyone say a bad word about him, even guys that weren't on the team anymore.
No, you could never hear a bad word. They're right characters, aren't they? And they're great guys. They really are. I'm sure no one just says it for the sake of it. They really are. They're unbelievable people to be around. I absolutely love spending time with them. They are brilliant.
And John Coleman went on record in saying that he'd been after you for a while, and he talked to you and saying that he wanted you to come to the team and obviously thought a lot about you. So that's gotta give you a good feeling that there's a manager that's actually pursued you and wants you to be part of the team progressing. Yeah,
well, it made my decision very easy to make the move. I already knew that he'd tried to sign me previously before, and he's very fond of me. I heard it like before, like it even came about this recent time before I signed. So when I did meet with John before I signed, literally just before I signed, like it made it so much easier for me to make the decision to move, because football, like when you feel appreciated and you wanted, I'm telling you, there's nothing better. And it feels like you can easily play your own game and play to your standard when you're playing under somebody who has that confidence in you and that trust in you to just do what you're doing, basically. And that's what he's done with me, to be fair. And that's why I feel like I've settled in really quickly and started off very, very well, to be fair. And obviously, like hearing that he appreciates everything that I do, and he's been very fond of me for years, made it so easy for me to join the club, basically.
Well, that actually kind of answers what Peter's other question was, because he had kind of asked, he wanted to know, was it an easy decision to move from Blackpool, and why did you want to say? It sounds like Coleman and just the culture at Accrington overall was a big thing for you that really made you want to come over.
Yeah, so like everyone knows what kind of team Accrington is and what they have been over the years under John Coleman. They're so hard-working, they're grafters, got a talented bunch of players. And I thought that I could fit into that quite easily. I didn't need to really adapt to my game or anything like that, because I feel like I fit the part for that. I feel like I work hard. I think I'm a good player, and I think I could fit under it in the system. And when I spoke to him, everything ticked all the boxes. So it was very, very, very easy for me to do that. Very, very easy.
So Blackpool and Stanley have had a bit of a rivalry over the past few years. There's been some incidents that flares went onto the field and things like that. So I was kind of wondering, obviously we had Dimitar Evtimov on the show, who was in goal for those incidents, and I kind of wondered what is it like for you? I can imagine it just must make you kind of sick to your stomach when you see things like that from your supporters, because they're not only they're putting you and your teammates in danger too.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not on, is it really? Like it's uncalled for, and no one condones it whatsoever. Like obviously you get those kind of people, like they have drinks and they're getting rowdy, and because there's a rivalry, you're always like prone to be around those kind of people, and you just got to try and act professional when you're doing that. Unfortunately, on that day when the goalkeeper threw the bottle back in the crowd, it was a silly mistake from him to do that, because he's the one that ends up getting punished at the end of it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, yeah, it's not on for fans to do stuff like that. I'm all for like a bit of rivalry and like a bit of banter and stuff like that. But like that's just definitely not on it. I mean, players' safety are at a risk basically. There, I mean, we go out there to play a game of football and try and do it for our clubs and stuff like that. So like to do stuff like that, I think that's definitely not on. No, definitely not condoning anything like that.
Yeah, I was
shame, to be fair. Spoils the game, doesn't it? Really.
Yeah, I was actually at that match, and he turned around. Basically, he just tossed the bottle back, like to get it off the pitch, and tossed it back. And that's the unfortunate part about it, because he was put in a position where he just threw it back, and not throwing at anybody particular, but he ended up paying the price. And it just spoils the event, because generally, from my experience when I've been at the Wem Stadium, the away fans' experience and the interaction with the Stanley fans is generally really good. And I think it was just a couple of bad apples spoiled it for people. And certainly Blackpool fans, 99% of them are not that way. And we don't want to sort of give that picture, because they're great supporters of their club.
Yeah, very passionate fans and stuff like that. And I think every club has, the one or two of them that will do silly things like that. I think every club has it. But, yeah, like you said, the goalkeeper paid the price for it at the end of the day. Like, just tossing it back. He didn't do it maliciously or anything like that. He just threw it back. But, like, as a player, you've got to be, like, a bit smarter than that. You got to realise that you're the one that's going to get in trouble for it. But, yeah, like I said, it's not on, stuff like that, and it really did spoil the game. I mean, I didn't even play in that game. I was on the side. I was watching from the side. I don't think I was in the squad that day. I was either injured or got bombed, one of the two. But I remember seeing it, and once that happened, I thought, oh, no, it's a bit of trouble there now for him.
Yeah.
Now, the main thing that we're here to talk about is, of course, your time with Accrington Stanley. And as we touched at the beginning of the show, right now you guys are 7th place in the standings. And one of the questions that I always like to ask is whether you're kind of looking at the standings or just taking it one game at a time. And earlier, you made it very clear that you have an eye on the standings. So, it sounds like you guys are really, you're after that top six and you're looking for promotion. And at this point, that's become a primary goal in the season, not just to stay up into League One, but actually to get into the playoffs this year.
Yeah, definitely. We're not going to make any bones about it. Like, the aim is to get into those playoffs, like, because we know that we've got a squad here that can do that basically. And I don't think every player is the same. I don't think every player looks at the league and all that stuff in detail and stuff like that. But I'm one of those people who really does. I'm always focused on a lot of stuff like that. So yeah. I think it's a great opportunity, especially at this stage in the season, and especially after playing everybody. We've played everyone near enough now, I think it is. Well, not everybody. I think there's 2 teams we've not played because of rearranged games and stuff like that. But we've played near enough everybody. And in my opinion, I don't think there's anything to be scared of in this league, to be fair. There are some good teams in this league, but we're a very good team in this league. I don't think there's anyone as hard working as us. I think it shows on the pitch the way we are, and everyone says the same sort of things, to be fair. And on top of that, we've got talent as well. Loads of talented players. So for us to say that we're not even thinking about playoffs or anything like that, it's ridiculous. I think some people, some clubs will think, oh, well, it's a little old Accrington, so they're not really looking to push for that kind of thing. But no, I think that's absolutely incorrect. Like,
I think I see a lot of teams are now, well, from my point of view, I think a lot of teams now are taking Accrington very seriously because of the talent on the squad and the way you guys play. And you see a lot of teams, knowing that you guys play out from the back is that a lot of teams are trying to put pressure on you guys, to throw that part of your game off. And does that make a difference when you're in a formation of, like, you go 3-5-2 or you go 4-4-2? When they're pressuring you, which system do you think works better for when they are putting some pressure on you?
I think it all depends on different things. It depends on who we're playing and what we're playing against, what formation we're playing against, and then it depends on our personnel. So there's so many different factors that can alter on what's best for us at that time. But we go through a week's training on working on what we're going to do, what formations and different personnel, based on who we're playing against, basically. I don't think we focus too much on the opposition because we know that we're good enough to go and beat anybody. So we focus on ourselves first, but then obviously we keep one eye on who we're playing and we try and alter things to make sure we get the best out of our performances. So different formations. I couldn't tell you which one I think is our best because it just depends on the personnel who we've got at the time and stuff like that. I think that's the reason why we'll alter it a bit. I mean, we've played so many different things with so many different players so far this season. I think I've played in about 4 or 5 different positions since I've been here. So, I think another point that you made was teams taking us seriously. I think teams have to take us seriously now because they've seen where we are in the league and how we're playing games, our performances. I think they've seen obviously the results against some of the big clubs that we've played against this season. We've played a lot of games and we've won quite a lot of them as well. So teams have to take us seriously because we're a very hard-working team and we've got talent. And we're up there on merit. We're not there just for taking part. It's no fluke. We are where we are because we've earned the right to be there. And we've played good football and got the results also with it. So, yeah, I think teams really do have to take us seriously this season.
You mentioned there you played several positions and fullback and center back. Do you have any preference, or is it one of those that wherever John says you're going to play, you're happy with?
I'm very happy to play anywhere on the pitch. As long as I'm on a football pitch, I'm very, very happy. That's the main thing for me. Obviously, I love different positions for different reasons. I love playing out wide because obviously you can get forward and get involved with the attacks, more chances of scoring and assisting goals. Obviously, I love playing at centre half because I feel like it's probably my best position. But I feel like I'm adaptable and I can play anywhere. I feel like I can play anywhere on the pitch. I really do. And obviously, I love being able to keep a clean sheet, especially when we're playing at the back. There's a really nice feeling. It's just as good as scoring goals, obviously. But I don't have any preference, definitely not. But as long as I'm on the pitch, I'm very, very happy, and I've been very, very happy since I've been here because I've been featuring in near enough every single game, everyone I'm available for anyway. And like I said, John's put a lot of trust in me, and he's told me this from the start. Like, what he thinks of me. So
you've been extremely effective no matter what position that you've been playing. It's one of the main stats that I look at when we're looking at defenders is the plus minus. And Tony knows this is something that we talk about a lot here on the show. And right now you're at a +7 on the season, which means that you've been on the pitch for 7 more goals scored than allowed. And just looking back through your career, 2019-20 with Crew, you were a +9. 2018-19 with Blackpool, you were a +6. So you've always been a player where it seems like when you're on the pitch, your team is on the plus side, and for me, that's the main indicator that you're out there doing your job.
And honestly, like when you say it like that, because I didn't know what you was on about with the plus thing there, but until you've already explained it there. But honestly, this is my honest belief, and I'm not being big-headed when I say that. I feel like I'm a real effective player when it comes to being in both boxes. So when I'm defending, I put my body in the line, I'll try to keep that ball out of the net. And I'm obviously getting forward. I want to try and make things happen, try and get assists and try and get goals. I feel like I'm really effective in those 2 areas. And I honestly believe when I am on the pitch, I feel like I can bring a bigger, more positive presence to the team, and I honestly believe that. And I feel like I've been very lucky to be playing in teams over the years, especially since I've been playing since Conference North and onwards, in really good, successful teams that have always been fighting for something, fighting for like the top half of the leagues and promotions and stuff. So I feel like I'm very lucky. But I really do feel like I've learned so much over the years, and it's made me a better player. And I don't think those pluses are there by fluke. I really do feel like I have that effect, and that's not really being big-headed. I really just feel like I have that a bit of presence, like in both boxes, especially.
Michael, yeah, I mean, I think you're absolutely right with what you're just saying, because that was exactly what I was noticing as I was going over your career, is that everywhere that you've been at has been successful, at least a top half of the table team, or like you said, challenging for promotion. And this is something that I've just noticed across all sports, not just football, but especially with American sports like hockey and baseball, and I know Tony will agree with this, that there's just certain players that always seem to pop up on winning teams. And it's not necessarily the guys that are on the all-star team every year, but you just kind of notice that every year the teams that are in the top 4 or 5 that are fighting for the championship, sometimes that guy is just always there. And like you said, it's not luck, there's something to it, and I think that you're a guy that just brings that winning mentality, and that's probably something that you learned from some of those guys early on in your career with Salford that had some experience of winning.
Yeah, definitely. So obviously I think it's not luck, but I reckon there's a slight bit of luck in there, but I feel lucky that I've been playing for all these teams where I've been playing with really good players, and I feel like these players that I'm playing with, they've really helped me develop. Like every time I move to a different club, and my time at a club, I feel like I really have progressed each year and become a better player and a more complete, experienced player. I think that's what's happened over time. Like I said, I'm lucky to have played at these clubs that are actually challenging and doing well, and playing with these players that are really good players who can help me improve myself as well. So, I really do feel lucky that in that sense as well.
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with what you're saying, Michael, is the confidence in yourself. And there's nothing wrong with having confidence in yourself and relaying that on the pitch. And you can see, I mean, I can see, with your play that you're confident in yourself, with the ability to go forward and playing in both boxes. One of the things that I wanted to ask about now that Paul Smith has joined the team, both of you are very have that unique talent, I should say, I guess, of be doing long throw-ins. Is that something you work on, or is that just something that you realized that you could do?
I think it was just something that I realized I could do. I never really worked on it. I was able to. I don't know if we were just messing around. One time, I don't even know where we were, but like we just thrown the ball as far as we could, and I could throw it the furthest, I think it was. And then one of my old managers, the one at Solihull Moors, Marcus Bignot, he loves stuff like that, like being able to like have an advantage like that. Obviously, it's a skill to have, and he sees it as an advantage. And at the time, at Solihull Moors, we had a really big side, like giants. All of us were giants. That's what he liked to have in his team, just giants everywhere. And obviously, having the long throw, it's almost like having a corner or a set piece.
Yes.
Well, it is a set piece, but like obviously like a corner or free kick. So basically, when I was doing that, we were scoring a lot of goals in that year when we got promoted. So obviously from that, a lot of people seeing that, like other teams and that, and obviously knew that I had that in my locker, like going forward. And so from there, it kind of progressed. Like I used to take it everywhere with me, because before that, I don't remember ever really using it. But yeah, it's a weapon. It's another weapon. It's a good skill to have.
Well, with Paul now coming, having that ability, and you being a tall person, it kind of almost, I don't know if John Coleman would think this way, but it almost sort of from the sidelines make sense for the short guy to make the throw and you be in the box and utilize your height in the box. Is that something that you that may happen, or is it just whoever's closest to the ball will take the throw in?
No, that's exactly what's happened since Paul's not been here for very long, but he's made a massive impact already since he's been in. And he was a massive loss on Tuesday, by the way.
Yeah,
he has a lot of energy, and he's a great player. But yeah, since he's come in, we've made the decision. Like I think we made the decision between ourselves. Like obviously, when we're both playing, if the opportunity comes along, then Paul will take it, because it allows me to get in the box. Who's obviously going to be a bit more of a threat in the box. So that's what's been happening over the last few games, apart from obviously Tuesday where Paul didn't play. So yeah, obviously we just try and use it as an advantage for us, and we've been trying to do that.
Well, like I said, I can't take credit for it then if you guys have already been doing it, but it's something obviously that makes a lot of sense. So
you can take a bit of credit if you want.
Yeah.
Well, I do need to shamelessly plug that Paul will be on the show with us next week. That's something we're super excited for, because not only has Paul been a huge part of the club already since coming back this year, but he was also instrumental in helping Stanley stay up back in the 2018-19 season. This is the second time with Stanley, so we're really excited.
Oh yeah, he's not stopped telling us about that, by the way, how influential he was in keeping the club up.
Well, I will back that up, because as somebody that watches every match for every match on I follow from 5,000 miles away, there were two games, one where he had a goal and one where he had an assist, and without the points from those games, Stanley probably would have been back in League Two. So I could back up his story.
Fair play to him. Fair play.
So, Tony, you have the world famous rapid fire questions, and we have a special question sent in at the end from our friend Edward Cunningham here in Phoenix, Arizona, and our friend Edward Cunningham, he wanted to give a shout out to you as a fellow ham also.
All right. Shout out to him.
Yeah.
Okay, so Edward, being here from Phoenix, Arizona, he wanted to know if you consider yourself to be a county or a forest.
I don't even know. Even to be honest, but like if I had to choose between the two, I don't know, maybe county, because the team who I support is Aston Villa, and obviously Aston Villa's captain is Jack Grealish, and he was there on loan, so I think I'll have to support County.
All right.
He wanted me to ask you that, but he's a big Stanley supporter here in Phoenix too. So, okay. Tony, I will now turn it over to you for the traditional rapid fire.
Yeah, these are some of just some quick fun questions that that started off really just sort of Lancashire based, but have kind of grown. Do you prefer mushy or garden peas?
Oh, garden. I don't like mushy at all. I think it's probably one of the worst foods on the planet. If I had a spoonful of mushy peas, I'm telling you, it's coming straight back up, honestly. Straight back up.
Okay, now on your bacon sandwich, would you have red sauce or brown sauce?
Brown sauce every time.
Now, if you were to have a full English, would you have black pudding with it?
No, I've never tried it. Only because of what it is. It really puts me off. So I've never actually tried it. But everyone says it's lovely, but I've never tried it. So no, I wouldn't have it.
Well, I think it's easier to.
I'm there with you. I've seen pictures and I'm like, no.
No, it's not for me. That I'm just a very basic guy. I like just normal, basic stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think that's a bit too out there for me. That.
Well, I can tell you're not from Lancashire because you don't like mushy peas, or you won't try black pudding. So.
Exactly.
On a musical point, what's your favorite band?
Favorite band? What's my favorite band? I love Jagged Edge. It's an old band, a bit soul-y R&B.
Okay, yeah, I know them.
You've heard of them,
they play that song. It's like I want to get married or something like that.
That's the one.
Yeah,
beautiful music. But on the way to football, to try and G myself up, I like to listen to a group called Chasing Status. It's drum and bass mainly. Their musical. Sometimes it's dubstep, but it's really like, blood pumping music to get you ready for a game. That's why I like to blast out on the way into football.
Well, you both lost me on that one, so I'll move on to the next question. Who has the worst sense of humor on the team? Which player has the worst sense of humor?
Worst? Oh, you're gonna get me in trouble here,
Well, go with the best sense of humor then. That might be easier, so you don't get anybody in trouble.
I want to answer the worst sense of humor.
Okay.
I'll say it's the worst banner, and it's Ryan Cassidy. He comes out with some mad one-liners. He tries to make everyone laugh, but sometimes he doesn't get really the reaction he wants. The bad jokes, you know what I mean?
What's your favorite takeaway?
I love Indian. Absolutely love Indian. I love lamb. It's called a lamb saguala. It's basically lamb with spices and spinach. It's the best. I love it. Absolutely love it.
This is one, if you were going to have a dinner with somebody, either living or dead, can you name two people that you would like to sit down and have dinner with?
Living or dead? Definitely Ronaldinho, because he's my idol. I loved watching Ronaldinho play football as I was growing up. Well, I heard that he doesn't speak very much English, so I don't think we'll get very far.
Well, you can have the translator doesn't count. You can have him a translator, but
and who else? Probably Whitney Houston, because I absolutely love her music.
I hope Darren Woodhead's listening.
I hope Darren's listening. Darren Woodhead, who's one of our other co-hosts, we like to give him a hard time about the Whitney Houston poster he had as a kid on his bedroom wall.
I'm with him. I'm with him on this one. Like, her music's unbelievable, and I think she was one of the most talented people on this planet.
I don't think it was on his wall, Phil. I think it was on his bedroom ceiling. Okay. I think. This has got me sidetracked there. Do you have a hobby or interest outside of football?
You know what? I'll tell you, one of my recent hobbies is golf, and obviously, like, a lot of football players play golf, and I've never ever been interested. But obviously, with the lockdown and stuff like that, there wasn't very much stuff to do. And right near where I live, there's a driving range, a golfing range, and I just thought I may as well just do something else, try something else. And then once I started on that, I've not really stopped. I've always got clubs in my car, and I'm always ready to go golf now. I absolutely love it. So I've only just started that last year, and I cannot wait for things to start opening up again over here, so we can start playing golf again and actually trying to get better at it. So when I actually retire from football, I'm going to try and become a professional golf player.
Wow. That is the hardest sport I've ever tried to play. Anybody that says golf is easy has never tried to play it. And I'll just say, for one, it takes a lot of balls to golf the way that I do. My golf score usually looks more like a basketball score, but
well, with my first week, that's what it was like for me. Like, to be fair, I was swinging for the ball and I was missing the ball. That's what it was like for me that first week. And then obviously, like a few weeks after that, I was swinging and the balls were going left, right, and everywhere. Like, but obviously over time, adapted and got better at it, and I've really, really, really started to enjoy it because I've actually started to get quite good at it. I say quite good, but like I'm probably still not that very good. Do you know what I mean? But I'm actually able to hit a ball like near enough where I want to hit it and quite far. So obviously, like, yeah,
well, I'll
really
tell you this.
when you're playing well.
Well, you enjoy it. That's the main thing. If you're enjoying it, that's, you know.
If you're getting scores that have names, then you're better than I am. Like if you're getting, if it actually has a name like par or bogey, because I'll be right back to 12, and then what's that called? I'll be like, go bowling is what that's called.
Oh gosh, I think you need to. Well, then, though, yeah.
You know, we have been making a lot of jokes here, but while we're talking about golf, we do need to send out get well wishes to Tiger Woods, who is in a serious auto accident this week, and just get well, Tiger, and we hope to see Tiger well and back on the golf course in due time.
Are you saying that? Are you saying Tiger Woods listens to this show, Phil?
I'm sure he does. I'm sure he has.
Well, you know what?
Tiger Woods is a huge Accrington fan.
There you go.
I'm sure he is. And that's why he wears red on the final day, is it?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Can I bring this back to? I want to bring it back to our match on Saturday. You're playing Fleetwood, and they've got a new manager. Well, I mean, he came in about almost a month ago now, Simon Grayson, who's been around Blackpool, Leeds. You can, I mean, his CV is as long as your arm. They don't seem to have had that new manager bounce, but that doesn't make them less difficult, does it?
Definitely not. I'll tell you one thing, like we played them at home this season, and I honestly think that was our hardest game at home this season. They've got good players there, and I know quite a few of their players. They've got a really good bunch of players there, so you cannot underestimate them. Even though they're not in great form at the moment, they are talented, and obviously they're in a bit of a rut, and they're going to be obviously trying to end that as soon as possible. So they're becoming all guns blazing on Saturday. So we've got to make sure that we're right mentally when we're approaching this game, and not thinking that the game's going to be won before we've even got there. So.
Yeah, I think
we'll be our best to beat a team like that because they're very, very good.
And what surprises me is when a team we expected Fleetwood to be higher than they are. Is their away form this season has really been poor. Out of 24 teams, they're 23rd in the away form, which is really surprising for a team. And I think that may be why, unfortunately, it cost Joey his job. But I don't think you can look at that on Saturday and saying that this is a 3 points in the bag. You've got to look at the team with respect and play accordingly, right?
Definitely, and they're at home anyway, so like that. They're not playing away, so that was probably a bit different. They're better at home, obviously, but like I said, they've got really, really good players, really, really talented players. There's no way we're going to take this game lightly at home and think it's done. This is going to be a very tough game for us. We're going to have to be at our best to beat them. It really is as simple as that. And the manager who's gone in there now, he's actually my manager who was at Blackpool last year, who never, ever played me. So I feel like I need to get one over him.
This goes to show you how much research I did for this, because I thought it was at Wham Stadium, and I looked at the wrong form table. But you're right. At home, they are actually a very good home form. They are just below Stanley as far as home form. So may have to edit that section out, Phil, because I completely screwed that one up. But
hey, Tony, everybody is allowed one mistake a year, but it's only February, exactly. So you're on thin ice.
That's my own. That's my whole. That's an own goal on my part. That one. Well, on that note, Phil, I'm done.
well, Michael, it has been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show today, and we apologize for the couple of technical issues and for putting up with us North Americans here. And as Tony always likes to say, continued success. And we will be watching the match against Fleetwood on Saturday on iFollow like we always do, and that one will be at Highbury. At Highbury. And we always like to finish up with an odd Stanley on.
Just before you say that, Phil, I just want to say you've been a great guest, Michael, and thanks for putting up with us today. And I really enjoyed visiting with you and learning your journey, and you're an example for people to get to where you are by doing it a different way. So well done, and good luck on Saturday. And back over to you, Phil. Sorry about that. I just wanted to jump in.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for having me on here. Like, it's been a pleasure being on here. I'm really grateful for it, and I'll come on any other time that you really want me to. But yeah, thank you very much for having me on here. It's been brilliant.
Love to have you on again, and thanks so much for coming on with us today. And on 3, 1, 2, 3, on
Stanley on.
Hey.
Cheers.
Cheers, Michael. Cheers.